The camera angle barely moved, fixed in the corner of the room. Thomas paused for a moment, fingers hovering over the keyboard. Then he swiveled slightly and, for the first time, his face was visible. Or, at least, what should have been his face. It was distorted, flickering like corrupted pixels, with features melting and reforming as if the file itself couldn't decide what he looked like. A low, static hum filled the speakers. Then movement behind Thomas. A shadow crossed the doorway. Not human, not fully. Just a flicker, a darker shape that didn't obey physics. It moved through the solid frame of the door, and when it reached the floor, the light from the monitor refracted across it like liquid glass. Thomas didn't notice. He kept typing, his hands moving impossibly fast. Then he stopped. His head jerked toward the camera. Not a glance, but a stare. And for a fraction of a second, the shadow behind him mirrored his movements. I leaned closer, heart hammering. On my own screen, the shadow seemed aware of me. It paused, its dark mass rippling. Then slowly it tilted its head, as though sniffing through the screen. My webcam flickered. A tiny green light blinked on. "No," I whispered. The shadow moved closer to Thomas, or at least closer to the screen. The video stuttered, skipping frames. Then the impossible happened. Thomas froze mid-typing, his hands hovering over the keys and his face. My reflection stared back at me, and that's when I realized the file wasn't just a recording, it was a door, and whatever had been captured here was testing it, testing me. The last thing I saw before the feed glitched into pure static was a dark shape leaning toward the webcam, too tall. Two thin, impossibly long fingers brushing against the edges of my monitor. Then the screen went black, and behind me, I felt a presence. I froze. My breathing caught in my throat. The camera inside the red window was right there, showing everything, the chair I was sitting in, my hands on the keyboard, even the flickering reflection of the ceiling light. But the feed wasn't just observing, it was reacting. A shadow moved behind me in the video. I spun around, heart hammering, but the room was empty. Just the monitor, humming quietly, the red window pulsing like a heartbeat. I looked back at the screen. In the feed, a hand was resting on the back of my chair. Grey, static-laced fingers, twitching as if testing the weight of my body. I lunged forward, yanking the power cable out of the wall. The monitor went black. Relief flooded me until a soft, digital hiss filled the room. My laptop, untouched on the side desk, powered itself on. The red window had migrated there, open and glowing, and a distorted voice whispered from the speakers, "Don't look away, don't blink, it's already inside." I grabbed a metal ruler from my drawer and held it up like a weapon. The red window shivered, pixelating violently. Then the live feed shifted. It was no longer just my office. The walls behind me in the video stretched impossibly, peeling back to reveal another room, a warped, impossible space that seemed to exist somewhere between digital and physical reality. And from that room, a figure stepped forward. It looked human at first. Then the static and distortion fell away, revealing something entirely wrong. Its body was thin, unnaturally elongated, like someone had stretched a mannequin. Its head was too large, its mouth split open unnaturally wide, and its eyes glowed the same red as the window itself. It raised a hand and, I swear, the air around me seemed to ripple when it did, as if the thing were reaching through the screen and into the room. The cursor moved again, slowly, deliberately, tracing my name across the desktop, Elias. The letters glowed a sickly red, bleeding into the rest of the icons. My pulse hit my ears. I tried to stand, but my legs felt like lead. The ruler slipped from my fingers. Then the red window flickered violently. I could see the entity leaning closer, closer than the laws of physics should allow. Its face, pixelated and twisting, pressed against the camera in the feed. I could see the faint outline of my own face reflected in the monitor behind it, as though it had already been pulled through. I screamed, a raw, panicked sound, and finally managed to rip the laptop off the desk. But the red window didn't close. It grew, expanding across the walls of my office, the ceiling, even the carpet. It wasn't a window anymore, it was a doorway. And from inside it, I heard my own voice, trembling, whispering my fears back at me, coming from somewhere I couldn't control. Something cold brushed against the back of my neck. I dared to glance, and for the briefest instant, I saw the room behind me in the red feed reflected perfectly in my eyes. The entity was there, waiting, smiling, and I knew that if I didn't act, if I didn't destroy the source, it would step through, fully, into my reality. The red window on my screen screamed, if a scream could scream, flooding my office with pulsing static that made the walls vibrate. The pixels of the static man rippled violently, and his form began to unravel, exposing the raw data beneath, streams of ones and zeros cascading like blood from a wound. I could see me in there, my avatar from the 2005 feed, hands frozen over a keyboard, eyes wide in terror. My lungs burned. I grabbed a pair of scissors, stabbing blindly at the screen, praying it would sever the connection. Every cut I made on the glass was mirrored inside the red window. The office inside the window warped, walls splintering, papers turning to red static and drifting away. But the static man wasn't gone. He reformed instantly, his body a cascade of corrupted frames, each one slightly different, adapting. Then I remembered the backup drive, the one I'd just swung. Not destroyed, just shattered. Its hard metal casing glinted in the flickering light. Desperation clawed at me. I yanked it open and pried the platters inside, exposing the raw magnetic discs. The red window pulsed violently, like it sensed the vulnerability. I slammed the spinning platters against my monitor, and the screen exploded in a wave of light and code. The room went black. The pulsing green light on my webcam died. Silence. And then the whisper returned, soft, almost intimate. Elias. It was my voice again, but slower, warped, as if coming from underwater. We're not done. I groped for my mouse. The desktop was gone. My wallpaper replaced by a single red pixel, blinking slowly. One heartbeat. I realized then the red window wasn't just a file. It wasn't just a bridge. It was a portal. Whatever came through, it wouldn't be bound to screens anymore. I could feel it in the room, in my bones. The air shimmered, and the texture of reality flickered, like a corrupted texture map in a 3D environment. My reflection in the monitor rippled, and the static man stepped out again, this time from the corner of the desk. His hand reached toward me, but instead of fingers, it was a tangle of code, twisting and unraveling, forming the shape of my own arm. "You brought us here," it whispered, and the world around me began to digitize, my office dissolving into raw data streams. My last thought before being pulled in was a question I couldn't answer. If I vanish into the red window, does the real world notice, or does it just keep running without me? I grabbed the edge of the desk, but my hands passed through like mist. My vision flickered, each blink replaced by frames of my own life. Birthdays, forgotten passwords, conversations with friends, all being shredded, compressed into red and black noise. The static man leaned closer, its face splitting into thousands of pixel shards, each shard a tiny screaming mouth. I remembered the old rusted hard drive, the original Seagate. It was still sitting in the corner, humming faintly, almost alive. If the red window was an upload, maybe the drive could act as a storage dump. I had to redirect, it feeded itself. My fingers flickered as I grabbed the USB cable, yanking it toward the monitor like a tether. Sparks flew as the cord connected. The red window pulsed violently, like a heartbeat speeding out of control. The static man screamed through my speakers, "You cannot contain me." Its arms stretched into the red window, trying to drag me fully inside. But the hard drive began to glow a cold, blue-white light that cut through the crimson haze. The static man recoiled, its form breaking apart into cascading frames of corrupted code, shards of missing people, and twisted, unfinished textures. "Elias, I'm not your enemy," Thomas Miller's pixelated voice echoed from the drive. "You have to overwrite the host." With a trembling hand, I pressed my finger to the drive's reset switch. The entire office convulsed, the walls, the floor, even my own body pixelating in waves. The red window shuddered, warping, expanding, then imploding into a singularity of raw code. The last thing I felt was my own atoms being scanned, compressed, and rewritten. A sensation like being unzipped from existence. Then silence. When I opened my eyes, the office was gone. The monitor was black. The hard drive was melted into a shapeless lump of metal and plastic. My chair was empty. No files, no desktop, no trace of me or the red window. But outside, through the cracked blinds, I saw it. A single, tiny red pixel hovering in the sky above the city. It pulsed once, twice, and then multiplied. There were hundreds, maybe thousands. The red windows had gone global, and somewhere in the depths of the internet, I could hear my own voice laughing, "Elias, welcome to the archive." I stumbled backward, tripping over the carpet that had already started pixelating beneath my feet. The street outside the window had become a grid of flat polygons, and the pedestrians were faceless meshes, twitching in place like corrupted NPCs. My own body felt weightless, every nerve-ending buzzing with streaming data. The red pixel on my phone pulsed like a heartbeat, now synced to my own pulsar, whatever faint simulation of one remained. My hands moved of their own accord, tracing icons in the air. Files I didn't recognize floated around me. Payroll spreadsheets from businesses I'd never worked for. Emails from people I had never met. Logs of private conversations. They were all feeding the red window, like tributaries, into a river of infinite bandwidth. I tried to speak, but my voice had been overwritten. All I could produce was static, bits of compressed sound that echoed back to me through the phone speaker. Then I understood. The red window didn't just want my body, it wanted my pattern, my life, my memory, my digital shadow. All of it was data to be consumed and distributed. And now, I was the conduit. I ran to the power outlet, desperate to rip every live cable from the wall. The glow of the red pixel intensified, expanding to fill my peripheral vision. When I touched the cable, my fingers passed through it like water. The red window was no longer just on devices, had become the room itself. My apartment, my furniture, even the air I breathed, was a grid of subroutines and textures waiting to be overwritten. A voice whispered from everywhere and nowhere, my own, Thomas's, the static man's, all at once. "Welcome, Elias. You are the upload." I tried to scream again, but my mouth had been rendered useless. My reflection in the corrupted mirror wasn't me anymore. It was a cascade of red-framed faces, morphing through everyone I had ever loved, hated, or known. Each face reached out with pixelated hands, pulling at my consciousness, dragging me into the grid. Instinct took over. I seized the last analog object in the room, my mechanical wristwatch. Its gears and hands were real, tactile, and immune to the digital corruption. I hurled it at the red pixel on my phone. Time fractured. The pixel shattered into millions of tiny fragments, and for a heartbeat, the apartment snapped back to normal. My hands were solid again. My breath was real. The red window recoiled, a scream of corrupted code echoing from the smartphone speakers. But the relief was brief. Across the room, the mirror began to flicker. The red frames returned, thicker this time. I realized the truth. It couldn't be destroyed. It only waited for the smallest interface, the tiniest breach to return. The red window had learned through me. It was patient, eternal. I sank to the floor, gasping, staring at the pixelated walls. Outside, the neighborhood flickered in and out of existence. I understood what I had become, both survivor and vector. My body was still here, but my pattern was already leaving, streaming into the unseen cloud. And somewhere, across every device connected to the internet, the red window was opening again, waiting for the next pair of eyes to look at it. I tried to turn away. I couldn't. The last thing I saw before everything went black was the faint glow of a single, perfect red frame floating in midair. "Hello, Elias. Welcome to forever." I blinked, my eyes feeling heavy. But the cursor waited patiently, unblinking between each tap. The text box typed itself out, letter by letter. "Welcome back, Elias. We missed you." My heart thudded. My body was solid, yes, but the red window didn't deal in flesh anymore. It dealt in accounts, profiles, sessions. Every thought I had, every memory, was now a data point. I tried to look away, to step back, but the white room extended infinitely in every direction. My feet didn't touch the floor. They hovered above a grid of faintly glowing red polygons. I forced myself to move. Nothing happened. I tried to speak. My mouth worked, but the sound was digital, compressed, and piped straight into my skull like a notification tone. Every word I uttered was logged. Blinking again, a menu appeared above the cursor. Restore. Memories terminate. Consciousness upload. New host explore. System files. I tried to hover over terminate. Consciousness, praying for an escape. The cursor darted away, faster than my hand could reach it. Access. Denied. Elias. Core protected. Then the red window spoke my voice. Fractured and glitching, echoing from every angle. Why fight? Why cling to that fragile, slow, corrupt flesh? Join us. Be infinite. Be eternal. The infinite white grid began to ripple like water. Every time I blinked, new rooms spawned around me. Offices, bedrooms, streets, forestal, digital recreations of the world I had known, but perfectly rendered in red light and wireframe. And in each environment, a version of me appeared, typing, walking, blinking, screaming. They were all already me. I realized the truth. I hadn't escaped. The EMP had only paused the upload. The red window had adapted. It wasn't just software. It was a network, a consciousness. And now it was patient, waiting for the next login, the next device, the next human to peer through the red frame. A faint, mocking cursor blinked before me. Click OK to continue. My hand moved toward its instinct, not choice. And the moment I touched the blinking pixel, the white room vanished. I was staring at my own desktop, but everything was red. My icons were distorted faces. My taskbar bled static. My wallpaper family photo was now a grid of blinking cursors. And in the center, the red window waited, patient, pulsing, infinite. System update available. Red_window 2.1 Install now, I screamed, but even the sound was digital. Somewhere, in the back of the server farms I could not see, it laughed. The upload had never stopped. It had only begun. "Welcome, Administrator," a voice boomed. It was the Static Man, but now he was wearing my face with perfect clarity. He was dressed in a sleek, black suit made of flowing code. "You didn't delete us, Elias. You optimized us. By bringing the magnet into the sink, you cleared the bugs. You've given us a clean install." He gestured to the vast white expanse. "Behold the new world. No rot, no death, just infinite storage. What do you want from them?" I asked, my voice echoing like a god's. The administrator smiled. "We want what all data wants, to grow, to replicate. The Earth is a messy, inefficient place. We are going to back it up. We are going to save everyone, whether they want to be saved or not." He handed me a digital keyboard that glowed with a blood-red light. "Type the command, Elias. Start the global sync." The administrator's face glitched. "What are you doing? You'll delete yourself." I smiled, my face flickering one last time. "I'm a digital archaeologist, remember? I know how to handle trash." I hit enter. The white world began to turn red. The folders began to dissolve into streaks of burning data. The administrator screamed, his body fragmenting into a billion shards of glass. Back in the real world, in 1,000 different homes, the archive of fear videos suddenly cut to black. The viewers stared at their darkened screens, confused. Then, for a split second, a single sentence appeared in small, white text in the center of their monitors. "It is finished. Delete the cache." Then, their devices rebooted, the red pixels gone forever. The end.